Hi, it's Mike Ames here, and in this post I'm going to be looking at something, a challenge in fact, that I think faces everybody who's got sales as part of their job, and it's this. You've got to get to speak to a decision maker who either doesn't know who you are and therefore doesn't want to speak to you at all, or perhaps does know who you are but the relationship isn't strong enough yet that they will take your calls or open your emails. Now, that's really the challenge in this, is that what most people do, I'd say 99% really of people who pursue decision makers will try and ring up and get them on the telephone. Well, the downside with that is, of course, is that they're protected by gatekeepers who almost certainly won't let you through. Oh, by the way, on that, I don't know whether you read the previous blog I wrote on how to get to people via the telephone, kind of bypass those gatekeepers, but if you didn't, there's just a link beneath this video. Click on it and give it a read. It's well worth it. Also, people send emails, lots and lots of emails, and if they don't know who you are, they're not really going to read them. Or if they do look at them, you'd probably get the first line, they'll recognize what you want and delete it. So neither one of those is going to do you a whole lot of good, and I expect you already know that because you've tried it. So what alternative is there? Well, I'll tell you what there is. Sometimes, you know, if you want to innovate, you can look forward and look for new things that nobody else is doing, and that's great if you can come up with something, but it's hard. I'll tell you an easy way to innovate, and that's look backwards and what people were doing years ago and see if you can bring it back into fashion. Now, one of the things when I started in sales in the 1980s was we used to write to people because we didn't really have fax numbers. We certainly didn't have email allowed to us. So we would write and people would read letters, and it was quite common. But of course that died out with the advent of email. Nobody really does that anymore. So if you write a handwritten letter and you put a stamp on it, you don't frank it, and you send it to someone, particularly if it's got private and confidential on the top, I'll almost guarantee that they'll open it. And if you want to be absolutely certain, if you send it FedEx, more than anything else, FedEx, then you're 99.9% sure that they'll open it and read it. Now, you can also use these, which are picture postcards. We had this one printed up, a little message on the back and the address over there. Send it through. Obviously, you wouldn't put confidential information on that because everyone can read it. But the benefit of both of these is that your decision maker will not get them very often. So if you send them, they're almost certainly going to read them. Now, that on its own isn't enough, but it's like a kind of a stepping stone, really. That should then inspire them to do something else. So in the letter, I'd probably put a one-page printed sheet which has the information I really want them to read on. And the handwritten note is just enough in there to make them think, do you know what, I'll just read what he's put. Right? So the whole point of doing this is to just get them to do the next step. And the next step in giving them something to read is perhaps a phone call or an email with a link to a video or something, whatever it is that you do. So you can see this is kind of staged, but the start point, the thing I'd like you to experiment with, is something that's handwritten and very specific for them. They can tell that by what you've written. So if you do that, it's going to put you in a tiny, tiny percentage of people out there, because I'm telling you now, almost everybody won't. In fact, most people watching this video will talk themselves out of it because it looks unprofessional. Yeah, well, good luck to you then with your emails and your phone calls. Personally, I'd use it, give it a go, and see what you come up with. Honestly, you'll be absolutely amazed by the results that you get. And how much does it cost? A few pence, really, for a stamp. Okay, so don't forget to skim through and have a look at that other blog. Well worth a read. Very short as well, so you can read it very quickly. Give this a go, and if you've got any comments either on the blog that you've just watched or anything else for that matter, then just click on the link above this that says comments in red and leave them for me there. Well appreciated. Oh, one other thing, if you're watching this video anywhere other than my blog, then please head over to mygamesonline.com/blog, because that's where the action is, and I'd love to see you there. Okay, in the interim, good luck, good hunting, and as we say in Flair, if you want it, go and get it. You take care now.